Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the fifth episode of my series where I share 15 of my favorite beats from select producers. And today we're doing another late legend who I've had multiple recommendations to cover, that being Nujabes. Now, unlike pretty much every other artist I've done in this series so far, this list is going to consist of a relatively small pool of albums since not only was this pioneer's discography cut painfully short, but he didn't really produce for too many artists outside of his camp. Whereas other legends I've covered like RZA or The Alchemist were doing dozens of beats every year for outside artists and their projects. That being said, even if we may be touching on the same few LPs for the most part, I still had plenty of stellar material to work with, and I even have a pretty good amount of honorable mentions to throw out before I get into the main 15. And in no particular order, starting those off, we have Don't Even Try It off the First Collection LP, which was a compilation from various artists on Hideout Productions. And you'll definitely see this one a couple more times throughout the video. Staying on that same wavelength, we actually have the second project that dropped in that series, which dropped in 2007, and one of the standout Nujabes instrumentals there is Imaginary Folklore. Another important release from this legend is his metaphorical music debut, and one of the beats I have to shout out is for the remix of Blessing It. Next up, we have the only instrumental I picked from Nujabes' third and final album, 2011 Spiritual State, which was in the process of being created when he passed away. So his close friends took it upon themselves to see to it that that album was completed and released, with the song I chose being Color of Autumn. Next up, we have a song that I believe was just a B-side for the track Next View, which also turned up on his debut, but I personally prefer the other single that was released with it, which was titled Beyond. Finally getting into Nujabes' magnum opus and the only project of his I've covered on the channel, we have Model Soul, which, fair warning, is going to take up a good majority of the top 15, to the point I only have one instrumental from that masterpiece in the honorable mentions, which is Flowers. Returning to his breakout full length, another track I wanted to recommend is Beat Laments the World. And staying on that extremely solid debut, we have Kumomi. And knocking off one more track from Metaphorical Music, we have The Final View. Closing out the set of honorable mentions, we have the first volume of that compilation series I was discussing a minute ago. To shout out the awesome beat for Still Talking to You.
I know the bliss, I know the check, bliss, you check in the beyond. I know the bliss, I know the check, bliss, you checking the bad, bliss, you checking the bad. I know the bliss, I know the check, bliss, you check in the beyond. I know the bliss, I know the check, you check, you check, you check, you check. I know the bliss, I know the check, bliss, you check in the beyond. I know the bliss, I know.
Kicking off the main 15, which will be in order from worst to best. At number 15, we have Tsurugi no Mai, one of the few tracks on this list to come from the soundtrack for the anime Samurai Champloo. After that, for number 14, we have yet another cut from Nujabes' debut, that being the song Think Different. For number 13, getting back to Model Soul, I have to shout out Eclipse. At number 12, we have the second in an iconic series of songs that Nujabes did with Shing 02, which is Love Sick Part 2. At number 11, the one other track I have from the second compilation album from Hideout Productions, we have the warm and serene flip for the track Counting Stars. Starting off the top 10, we have the expansive and weirdly danceable World's End Rhapsody off of Model Soul. Then at number 9, we have the original Lovesick, and I believe that's the final track on this list you're going to see from that compilation series. For number 8, we have the highest placing instrumental off Metaphorical Music, which definitely had to be the top tier beat for Lady Brown. At number 7, I'm just going to stop saying when the song is from Model Soul, since the vast majority of the remaining spots are dedicated to moments off that masterpiece. And this is another one of those cases where I went with the opening track Feather. For number 6, following in the last track's footsteps, we have the gorgeous and kind of meditative instrumental for the track Reflection Eternal. And closing out on the top 5, starting us off, we have another cut from the Samurai Champloo soundtrack. But this one is especially significant because it's actually the song used for the opening credits, that being the iconic track Battlecry. At number 4, while there is at least half a dozen tracks in the aforementioned Lovesick series, my personal favorite would definitely have to be Lovesick Part 3. And coming in at 3rd place, we have one of the most underrated Nujabes instrumentals I could think of, and it's one I frequently listen to even outside of the context of Model Soul, and that's the inspiring and uplifting track Thank You with Apani B. Taking the number 2 spot, we once again return to the Samurai Champloo album to touch on what very well might be the most iconic and well-known Nujabes instrumental ever created, Aruarian Dance. And taking the number one spot, it probably doesn't surprise you that we're ending out on Model Soul. And it really had to be the track Ordinary Joe, as the creativity and ingenuity shown by Nujabes here results in an absolutely breathtaking and one-of-a-kind piece of hip-hop. And with that, we've now reached the end of my list, but feel free to recommend any other producers that you'd like to see in this series. And if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your ranking of these Nujabes instrumentals would be, as well as any that you feel like I left off. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.